Alrighty, welcome back everybody. This is going to be like a double day for videos. I had so much information blow into me today, it's unbelievable. But what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about real quick about the Amd 8000G series desktop CPUs. This just came to me on the wire, but HKEPC citing there's a source close to the motherboard makers claims that Phoenix Silicon based on the Zen 4 and the Rdna 3 architecture will be used by the Ryzen 8000G series, not 7000G series, as speculated as before. According to the Taiwanese media, AMD is to launch at least 4 new SKUs. AMD has reportedly provided early engineering samples to the board makers recently who began releasing the new Aegis combo AM5 PI 1.1.0.0 firmware for their 600 series motherboards. Those partners are said to be evaluating support for these new desktop GPU series, APU series. Well, y'all know what I mean by that, but furthermore, according to the report, AMD Ryzen 7 8700G will be featuring Phoenix 1 Silicon with 8 Zen 4 cores and a full 12 compute units graphic subsystem based on the Rdna 3 architecture. A cut down version featuring 6 Zen 4 cores would reportedly be called the Ryzen 5 8600G. 86, not 87, the 86. AMD is also preparing 2 models based on the Phoenix 2 die, known as the Small Phoenix. This APU was recently introduced by AMD for the affordable laptop segment and its first monolithic design to employ the Zen 4 and smaller Zen 4C cores. The Ryzen 3 8300G would feature the same configuration as the mobile Ryzen 3 7440U, which is 1X Zen 4 core and 3X Zen 4C cores, while the Ryzen 5 8500G would have 2 Zen 4 cores and 4 Zen 4C cores. Both models are said to feature 4CU Rdna 3 graphics. It is said that AMD might launch the new series no sooner than the end of this year, early next year. So end of this year, early next year, looks like it's getting promising. The changes to the Ryzen 8000G naming scheme instead of the 7000G is a strong indicator that this is a 2024 product. So we got some good looks on this. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring you down, let you get a little peek of what they're talking about. Well, look at here. Looks like they got the Ryzen 7 8700G, got 8 cores, 16 threads. They got 12 CUs, Rdna 3, 65 watts. The Ryzen 5 8600G, 6 core, 12 threads. at 65 watts. They got a Ryzen 5 8500G, 2 cores plus 4 C core and 12 threads. They got that for 4 CUs Rdna 3 for 65 watts. Now the Ryzen 3 8300G is 1 core plus 3 core, 3 core, yeah, 8 threads, 4 CUs Rdna 3 at 65 watts. Now, going down, yeah, we'll make sure we get the source in there. Okay, now, looking at the Ryzen 7 5700G is an 8-core 16-thread. The frequency, the base clock is 3.8 gigahertz. The boost clock is 4.6 gigahertz, 8 CUs Vega at 65 watts. Now, the Ryzen 5 5600G is 6-core 12 threads. Okay, the base clock is at 3.9 gigahertz, and the boost clock's at 4.4 gigahertz, 7 CUs Vega at 65 watts. And then you can see the rest. Basically, these are all 65 watt chips, processor chips. So basically, these 8000 series are going to be replacing the 5000 and 4000 series. So they got six of the older ones, and the Zen 2, the Zen 3, and now this is the Zen 4 and Zen 4C that's coming up. They look interesting, especially this 8-core 16 thread at 12 CUs Rdna 3 at 65 watts. Now that is interesting. Oh, I did it again. Okay, now moving on down. My thought about this is this, okay? My thought is about this. Looking at what it's going to be and what they're talking about is going to be like, to me, it's going to be really interesting to see what they're talking about here. Especially when they're talking about the base clock and boost clock. I would love to see what's going to happen with the base clock and boost clock of this. If they're going to have the base clock over 4 gigahertz, it would be nice to see if they got the base clock over 5 gigahertz. That would, or the boost clock over 5 gigahertz. That would be something. But these are to replace the Vega. Okay, this is to replace the Vega. This is Rdna 3. Okay. Totally new SKU when it comes to APUs. And the TDP being at 65 watts, which, my Ryzen 5 5600G is 65 watts, but it's at 7 CUs. But, you're talking about the 8-core 16 thread at 12 CUs. Boy, that is definitely going to be one that I'm going to be looking to see what the price is going to be. Okay. Now, I hope it's not going to be too pricey, but if it's a reasonable price, that's going to be what we're going to be looking at. I mean, yes, it's going to be going up to the next gen, the AM5 series, but, if they're looking to push it onto the 600 series motherboards, like if you get a B650 motherboard and they do the update for it, I mean, you get a B650 motherboard with overclocking capabilities, and then you get the 8700G, and hopefully it has overclocking capabilities. That's something that they're not talking about just of yet, but I would imagine having an 8-core 16 thread at 12 CUs is going to have overclocking capabilities. It should, at least in the BIOS, you should be able to at least clock it up to the max in the BIOS. Now, what would be even more would be a positive to AMD would be is to be able to overclock it with AMD Adrenalin. You know, be able to do that overclocking with AMD Adrenalin, which they've never done yet. You're still not, you know, on the 5000 series and the 4000 series, you still can't overclock it with AMD Adrenalin. So, but they give you the little perks that goes along with it, you know, the little boosters here and there, you know, for Rdna 2 and all that. But it still comes down to the fact what these new APUs are going to be capable of. Integrated graphics, you know, for the people that can't afford a decent graphics card, you know, a discrete graphics card. So they look at doing the integrated graphics for gaming and stuff like that, but they're giving positive notes about gaming capabilities with, you know, these new new APUs. That's what I want to see, because it's all a leak. Now understand, this is just leaked, but this might come to be something that's going to be not a leak, it's going to become a fact. So if it's going from fiction to fact, then, you know, that's the route that everybody's going to be going. So, but if you're looking for an APU and you're looking for the next gen, then, you know, motherboards, B650 motherboards might be 140, like from 140 to 180, you know, depending on the motherboard you get. RAM could be equaling up from $80, $60 to $80 to however much, you know, whatever kind of RAM you get. So that's something you got to think about too. But even if you get the processor, if they do it as a combo deal, that would be even better. If they say, okay, we want to do this for a set price, we're going to do the whole thing as a combo deal, and they put $400 on the combo deal, everybody's going to be jumping for this. Don't forget to jump for your drinks and snacks, by the way. So my conclusion is this. These are going to be something that we might want to, you know, we want to have a look at, because I'm not so much into well, yeah, I am into both, but these look interesting, and I know they might be interesting to you. So if we can get our hands on them, then, you know, we can take and, you know, do some clocking here on the channel. Now that I got all the test equipment that I need to do the clocking, you know, it's going to be interesting. So make sure that you stick around for that. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and cut the video right here. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. And also to my veteran subscribers, as always, much love to you for all that you do helping support the channel. So until the next time, in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.